Hey, what's up guys? Hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. In this video, we're going up to the SOHO spacecraft that monitors the sun. It orbits the sun with planet Earth. I'll show you the orbit right here. Here's a schematic of how the spacecraft does it. It's out here in front of the Earth, in between the sun and the Earth, and it has a uninterrupted view 24/7 of the sun, again, as it orbits the sun with planet Earth right out here in front of the Earth. So it's kind of like right here in between the Earth and the sun. We're going to come back and take a look at something interesting that I found in the field of view of the SOHO LASCO C3 instrument. There's two instruments on board this spacecraft, one that has a wide field of view and one that has a closer field of view. Again, we'll come back and take a look at that here in a moment. First, over here at the website, quick look at the Schumann resonance. All in all, pretty quiet in the last 48 hours. No major spikes. Looking at the GOES X-ray flux over here at the Space Weather Prediction Center. Different story over here. Couple of strong solar flares here in the last 16 hours. Two M-class solar flares, and they were Earth-directed, so there are new CMEs headed towards the Earth. We just dealt with a strong CME that created a fairly strong geomagnetic storm here in the last 48 hours. You can see the red vertical lines indicate geomagnetic storm activity, and we should see some here in the coming days as there are more CMEs headed towards the Earth from this location right here. This is where the M-class solar flares have originated from, right there in that area, and that is definitely Earth-directed. Hopping over to the Yellowstone supervolcano caldera, looking at the seismographs that monitor the mighty supervolcano. A little bit of earthquake activity today. There was a 2.8 that showed up over here just north and west of the caldera about 4 hours ago. You can see the dark blue indicates magma intrusion all around the caldera. Nothing major going on, but there is a little bit of earthquake activity today at the supervolcano caldera. I want to take you guys now back up to the SOHO spacecraft that again monitors the sun from back here in the neighborhood of planet Earth. And here we go. I was up there yesterday looking at a sun-diving comet, and then I noticed that something appeared in the field of view that I'd never seen before. And I've been using this instrument for over 14 years. This has been active since 1998, and I've been using it close to probably 15 years. And I noticed something unusual. There goes the comet right there. And I was researching the comet because you'll see from time to time when sun-diving comets interact with the sun, you'll see sometimes solar flares, CMEs, following the sun-diving comet. Not always, but sometimes you do. I want to go back a few days to the 6th and the 7th. This is March 6th of 2022 and March 7th. Nothing unusual, like it's always looked for over a decade, at least from my own personal experience. You can see background stars, what looks like static. Those are charged particles and ions. Here we go. 7th and 8th, same field of view, nothing unusual. This over here is Jupiter, which is well behind the sun. You can see some plasma coming off. Nothing unusual. Some solar activity coming off the southeastern limb of the sun. Now we're going up to the 9th, March 9th of 2022. March 9th and 10th, actually. You can see a fairly large CME solar flare come off the southeastern limb of the sun. And then I noticed something over here that I'd never seen before. And you're probably starting to see it also right there. That CME kind of illuminated something over here that has a horizontal appearance to it. Looks dark, looks darker than anything else up here, and it's the only thing that's perfectly horizontal. Everything else is kind of at an angle and moving. The background stars are moving from left to right. You can see the solar wind and the plasma coming off the sun, moving away from the sun. And this thing right here, whatever it is remaining very stationary. It's not moving and hasn't moved for the entire day of the 9th and the 10th. It's been there the entire time. So I got to monitoring this area. Here it is in a different format, and you're probably starting to see it better now. See it right there? Fairly large, I would say extremely large object parked in the proximity of the sun. And this just appeared on the 9th, and it's still there right now as I do this video. Again, visible on the SOHO LASCO C3 instrument. That was yet another format, and you could see it even better in that format. We're going to look at it on the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th, and I go through it pretty quickly. Here I highlight the area with this red rectangle. where the large object is at. This doesn't look like any type of lens artifact. It doesn't look like any type of oversaturation or pixelation. Again, this just showed up on the 9th. It was not there prior to the 9th of March. Here's another format. This is on the 11th. You're going to see a large solar flare, CME, go very close to this object, almost like it's sitting here refueling or something. You know, if you had to think outside the box, you know, what could be up there? You know, right there went some solar wind right at this object that's sitting perfectly still, horizontally across the field of view, not vertically, not at an angle, just sitting here stationary, almost trying to blend in with the atmosphere. But you can see the edge of this thing right there. And you probably wouldn't notice it as much, but the streamers coming off of the sun are at an angle. Right here's a pretty good view of this thing. I got it in fast forward. See it right there? Kind of hard to miss in that perspective. And this is on the 11th and 12th, I believe. Same location. Yeah, here we're on the 11th and 12th right now. And it's still there right now. There went Jupiter. I'm zooming in. There goes yet another comet. There's that object right there, whatever it may be. Here it is in a different format. Pulls it forward even more. Pretty good size. It's difficult to say because I don't know the depth of this thing. It could be very far away. Then again, it could be fairly close. So it's nearly impossible to say exactly how big it is, but I would say it's fairly large just based off of, you know, its proximity to the sun and being able to hold its own against the mighty solar wind. I mean, that thing is stationary as it can be, and it's been there now for 4 days. Now we're going into the 13th and 14th, and we'll see it up here in the same location. Also on March 15th, it has not moved. It's like it's parked in that area, and again, it's been there since March the 9th. And I've also got something else to share with you guys. Did you see that large CME that was headed directly towards this object? You're going to see it again whenever I update it to the 14th and the 15th, and you'll see it go just past that large object just sitting there, again, in the proximity of the sun. See it right there? Nowhere else in that field of view do you see anything that looks even remotely close to that. And I've been using this spacecraft, this instrument, just like a lot of you guys have. I've been using this thing for over 14 years, and I've never seen anything like that. There went a large CME billowing past this object that, again, has remained stationary now for 6 days, 24 hours a day, right there in that same location. You're going to see something else that we saw down here on Earth over Germany here a few days ago. You're going to see something up here on the SOHO LASCO C2 instrument that looks nearly identical to what was observed above Germany back on March the 4th. You can clearly see something horizontal here at the 8 o'clock position. If the sun were a clock, that would be at the 8 o'clock position of the sun right over here. There went a huge CME past the object. Now we're going to the SOHO LASCO C2 instrument. This is a closer field of view from the same spacecraft. It's just the C3 instrument has a wider field of view. Let me back it up just a little bit. I want to show you guys what I saw right here, and this is March 15th of 2022. See this right here? It wasn't moving. Like everything else you saw here in the field of view, it was moving, you know, either left to right, or you could see the solar wind and plasma moving down here at an angle. This was not moving, and it reminded me of something right here. The video on the left was taken by Dennis out of Germany back on March the 4th. See how they have similarities almost at the same angle too, and appear to be about the same size. This is not moving. It's been in this field of view now for several hours. It has not moved. You can see maybe a little bit of movement at the bottom from time to time. And then again, that could be just a digital artifact from the plasma that's going past this object, whatever it may be. But it does look very similar to what was observed above Germany. I just found that very coincidental. Right there's the object right there. Seems to be flickering a little bit. Almost identical to what was observed above Germany just a few days ago. And we are expecting some of this solar activity that you're seeing right here from the 14th and the 15th to be interacting with Earth's magnetic shields sometime in the next 48 to 72 hours. Thanks for watching. Have a super day and be safe out there.